Good morning, everybody. How are you? Beautiful Monday morning today. It's spring. I've got a day off today, so I thought I'd do this video today. I'm Sunita from Angelic Awakening. Welcome. So today we're going to be talking about children. I'm not sure what Spirit's going to talk about. So I'm going to channel through Archangel Metatron because he is predominantly the archangel that works with children, as well as Archangel Gabriel. But Metatron's the one who wants to speak today, and I've got some beautiful angels in the background, very childlike today, pinks and whites. We will in the beginning do a bit of a small meditation just to get us in the space of working with children or our own inner child, and then we'll see what happens from there. So I've got some cards. I don't know what's going to happen. The angels dictate what's going to happen. I work intuitively, and the angels work through me and speak what they want to speak. So should we get started on just tuning into ourselves? I thought Monday morning we'd do a quick meditation just to start to bring us into that space. Before I do that though, I just wanted to let people know that I also have a YouTube channel, so if you are not linked to Facebook, you can go to YouTube and watch my videos anytime you want, and just to share them with whoever you think may benefit from the angelic kingdom. Today the angels are really around me today, the inner child, so this is going to be a very soft, easygoing video. It's not going to be intense or anything. And I've got a lot of beautiful angels in the background too, so welcome. So we'll first start with a morning meditation, just a quick 5-minute thing, just to get us in that space of joy and freedom and peace. So what I'll get you to do is close your eyes, and this is going to be a silent meditation, and it's just going to be in regards to just bringing yourself back to center, so that you can take the most out of this video. So good morning. So first, what the angels would like you to do is just take 3 deep breaths in. So the angels would like you to put your hands in your center, and then they'd like you to visualize the color white flowing down from the beautiful sun above you, seeing a beautiful crystal diamond white light coming down and surrounding you now. This opalescent white light going all the way through your chakras, all the way down into the ground. And then the angels ask you to surround yourself with the beautiful Christ consciousness, or the gold ray. So flowing down, touching your head, going all the way down through your chakras, surrounding you with love. And now surrounding ourselves with the beautiful pink ray of unconditional love. So seeing this beautiful baby pink ray or magenta ray, whatever pink you need right now, see it flowing down, surrounding you now with a beautiful pink light. Now see the beautiful blue ray of Archangel Michael placing us in a sphere of protection. And then finally the violet flames, so just to help us clear any energy from the weekend, to bring ourselves in the moment. Our purpose today is to be open to receiving messages about children from the archangels, the angels, and our team of light, to get the most out of this video with clarity, understanding, and purpose. Please allow us to take this peace throughout the day and this peace throughout the week. Namaste. So that's just to get us into the energy. So just if you've just joined us, we just did a quick meditation, but that's okay. So today we're going to be talking about children. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tune into Archangel Metatron and see what he wants to start with. Okay, let's just tune in. Okay, so Archangel Metatron, the first thing Archangel Metatron is talking about is children in general. So with children, before they come into this incarnation, into your family, they choose parents, they choose a life mission, they choose the people that they're going to encounter. So children, before even conception, they choose the kind of journey they wish to take. They sit down and they work with Metatron and all the guides and teams of angel ancestors who are going to help them along the way. They make a plan or a book of life, and this is created way before birth. So when children come into this incarnation, even before the pregnancy comes, most souls hang around their mum and dad for a while, and they sit in the aura, they kind of watch over their parents for years and years. So for example, my son was in my aura, but that's because I'm open and receptive to this. My child was in my aura from like early 20s, and now he manifested, so it took him a good 15-20 years. So also too, children can come into your sphere, not just from your own children, but ancestors as well. So children can just be sitting around, hanging out in your energy field, coaching you, encouraging you. Also too, if you are receptive and open to spiritual connections, even in your job, if you come across children or children in general, these souls can be around you prior to their births as well. So even cousins. So children in general is quite a big sphere. Archangel Metatron works with them. So there is something before conception. There's called the baby realm or the baby spirit realm. So they are a bunch, a collective of new souls that are hoping to come in, waiting for their parents. And they tend to have lessons there. There are angels, guides looking after these baby spirits. And those baby spirits are allocated to parents on earth. Whether it's through adoption, through birth, through surrogacy, they all kind of are sitting in the sphere of light, which is near the angelic kingdom. So they just wanted you to understand what happens before they even come into this world. So they're allocated purposes, roles into the family. So when they, even prior to conception, they already know when they're going to pick the perfect date and time for themselves. They never, even for me, when I was trying for a child, I was always trying to predict when they would come, but they would never tell me anything, and it doesn't work that way. It's all about perfect timing, and it's all about divine timing. It's not something within our control. So when parents are trying to become pregnant and that, a lot of it is based down to the child and when they are ready to come, not when the parents want them to come. So it might take years, it might take a couple of seconds, you know, the child dictates when they come into this world. So that's the first thing that Metatron wants you to know. When people, once a child gets conceived, they spend a lot of their time not in the womb. So when the child is growing as a fetus, in the first 3 months, they're kind of in and out. They don't really tend to spend much time because they don't need to be there. They're kind of off doing other things. And so as the mother, when you're carrying the child, you're growing the fetus like a body. It's still connected to its body, but it's not going to go, it's just going to come in and out. So there's also, if you really, when you do get pregnant, you can have a spiritual experience with being pregnant. What I did was I started with the diary and I wrote down and meditated and connected with my child. So I recorded that throughout the pregnancy. So for the first 9 months I wrote everything, any guidance I got, any feelings I got. So you really can have quite a profound experience when you're pregnant. And I didn't necessarily get my son talking to me, but I got images and thoughts and feelings, and I felt gut, you know, those gut feelings you get. So when the child is growing in the womb, they tend to be in and out talking to ancestors. They don't solidify their connection until they take their first breath. So that is when the spirit and the body stay connected. So you know when a child takes their first breath, when they come out, that is when they're connected to their body fully and they stay in this incarnation. But prior to that, they're working with ancestors, they're working with guides. And sometimes you'll find too, yeah, they are moving around, so they do look after their body, but they're very protected in the womb. There's a lot of protection around them, a lot of ancestors who are invested in this future baby. So when a child comes to the earth, they take their first breath. That is when they connect to their body. And that is when their memory is wiped from any previous lifetime. So any kind of connection to spirit, any type of remembrance is wiped, because a baby could not handle remembering all lifetimes all at once while being incarnated in this lifetime. So I got a lot of these truths and understandings, and baby spirits are very real. They're as much real as angels and guides. So when my son was born, he took his first breath, he connected with his body. Then that's when he came, and he's still the purest form that you could be. So when you come and when you're born and you take your first breath, you get a form of amnesia. It doesn't mean that everything's wiped completely, because obviously they need to remember they're connected to source. So when they're born, they are still pure of spirit, pure of heart. So then that comes our responsibility as parents or adults. How do we nurture this child to be the best versions of who they can be? So this is where Metatron is taking this whole video. So he wants you to understand the process in which a child chooses its parents, chooses its situations, chooses its experiences. Even the children that have illnesses and diseases and cancer and all that, sometimes they have chosen that to teach others in the family, as well as to evolve and teach themselves. That's the higher perspective on illness and disease. So that is just what they're saying. And they don't choose the suffering, they just choose that journey. So whatever that journey encapsulates is what they want to learn. Even the little babies that are stillborn, the babies that only live up to 3 months, that is kind of the soul lesson they've come in with. They've come in to learn something about human existence, and then they go back into spirit and come back again. So if you lose a child, they always come back again in a different form. They don't necessarily not come back, they always do. So that's the understanding Metatron wants you to get. So the next lesson they want to say is, when the child is born, it's our responsibility as adults. And this is why Metatron feels it's really important to start talking about what should we be doing for children on this planet at this time with this new energy, this 5D energy. Children from 10 years ago are very different to the children that are born today. I'm sure everybody can attest to this. So if you meet a newborn 10 years ago, you could see there's a difference between the evolution of children. So they've become a lot more aware, a lot more enlightened, a lot more not willing to do what we want them to do. They are a lot more resistant, and they're a lot more connected to source, so they really will not budge for you. The connection with source is so strong now that if parents try to push, they will push back. So in the past, children were a lot more easygoing, and there are different types of generations of children that have come through. So the children that have come through are they're not any different from intellectually, it's more spiritually. So each generation evolves, and each generation passes on lessons to each other. So they talk about lessons in the beginning. So many, 1970s, 1980s, that generation had to learn about, maybe particularly about hard work, dedication. Then the next generation, 80s and 90s, had to learn about persistence. So there's also there's a lot of writings out there around the indigo children, crystal children. They do exist, but all children are special in the Creator's eyes. They all have a purpose. So the children all have different purposes in different places. There's no child that's less than any other child. That's not the truth. Absolute truth is every child that comes in has a purpose, as well as ourselves. We have all been created perfectly as we are. So as adults, we need to encourage the children of today to be the best versions of who they can be. And this is a hard task, Metatron is saying, because they vary in types and sizes and abilities. And it's not a one-fit approach fits all. You need to be very intuitive with the way you bring up your children. So Archangel Metatron saying, there are children that are coming with different spiritual gifts, but it doesn't mean they're any better or any worse or any less than any other child. It just means their missions are a bit clearer. So some kids coming in, I think the 70s, 80s and 90s with the indigo children, there is a lot out there. Doreen Virtue wrote about them, but they're the rebellious ones, the ones that they speak their truth, they do not back down. They were here to break down the old ways. Then there was the crystal and rainbow children that have come in. They're more gentler, more in tune with animals, children, more in tune with emotions, more in tune with Mother Gaia. So they kind of came in to bring in the new energy. Then there's these whole new light workers again that have come in. So you're seeing more staff seed children. You're seeing more children coming in with, from what the angels are saying, is there's different children bringing in different frequencies of the different rays. So if you understand ascended masters and the different rays, the white, the gold, the blue, the pink, the green. So all of these children are coming in, and they're bringing in those divine qualities and anchoring them into the earth. Children in 10 years' time are going to be even more advanced again. It's just it's a metamorphosis thing. That's what the angels are talking about. So how do we parent the children today? Good question. Metatron's saying that you've got to really be conscious as a parent, meaning awake and in tune with your child. Not reacting to a child, but actually standing back and looking and thinking, what is it that my child's trying to say? So are they frustrated? Are they tired? Are they hungry? Really getting back to basics, not just going in there and screaming at them or reacting. As there is a doctor, if you put up conscious parenting, there are books on conscious parenting. I've read many books actually, and it really does wake you up to the responsibility we have as parents. So for example, if a child is tired and they're cranky and you react by being cranky at them, that's not the most conscious parenting way. The most conscious parenting way is standing back and looking, okay, the child is tired, what can I do to kind of elevate their anxiety or elevate their tiredness? Can I feed them now? Do I have to bath them now? Like, not forcing them to do things, because as soon as you start forcing them, they act more up, because it's like even for a 2-3-year-old, my son, he will push because he doesn't want to do what I want him to do. So you got to try and think of it in a more of a creative way. You still have to have boundaries. Archangel Metatron's saying you still have to have a discipline involved, because kids do like structure and they do like knowing what's going to happen next. What they don't like is being told you can't do this, because it's such a unnatural thing for them, and it is a learnt behavior, Archangel Metatron saying. So you can teach your children to try and self-manage their emotions, but this takes time and it takes age. So the older they get, the more mature they get. You've got to be conscious about how you're teaching them to manage their emotions, not just ignoring them and saying, oh, get over it, or stop crying, or kind of disregarding their feelings, because they are very intelligent beings. A child is so intelligent with their emotions, their connection to source. It doesn't mean they know exactly what they're doing all the time, because they're in little bodies. They don't know how to manage their emotions. They don't know how to manage their mind. They're still learning. Ages 0 to 5, they're really learning about self-empowerment. They're learning about just being autonomous, being independent, learning how to do things for themselves. So there is a process in the whole thing. But you can make it easier on yourself if you actually are consciously parenting. Consciously parenting means each situation you're taking it for what it is. You're not looking back at the past and reacting. Really hard, I know, because I also work and I get tired. I come home and the last thing you need is your child to be like, you're wanting them to have dinner and they're playing up, and it makes you frustrated. But what really does help is taking a couple of deep breaths and saying, do I really need to be reacting and getting more upset? Because it actually fuels the situation. So Metatron's saying, with the children now coming into this planet, they're very aware, and they're so aware that they pick up on your emotions and your feelings. Children used to do it before, but they're even more sensitive now. So as adults, we have the responsibility to start maintaining boundaries and seeing what their stuff is and what our stuff is. So, and a lot of parents, I've talked to many friends and family, and a lot of family and friends will say, I wish I had done this and this and this when I was younger. But that doesn't matter, because whatever's happened has happened. And if your child is a happy child and they've turned out to be great people, don't worry about how these little things, you forgot to do. This is an evolving process. So a lot of parents now are waking up more today than they ever have. So they're a lot more aware about what they're saying around children, what they're doing around children. So Metatron's saying people weren't expected to do this years ago because they wouldn't know how to. And this conscious parenting is such a new age term, but it's actually very good for children these days, in today's day and age, from, the new energy, the shifting of energy that adults are evolving. We're going to get children that are more pushing us in regards to staying in our truth, because I find too with my son, he really tests me in regards to being honest and communicating effectively and watching my words, watching my actions and my behavior. So as an adult, you have a lot of power on how your children turn out in the future. As we can attest to this, Archangel Metatron saying, and remember what your mum and dad used to do for you and how you turned out. You know how the positive things we learnt, the negative things we learnt. All of it is important, but you can make a difference in your child's life today by starting to be awake and conscious. This is the biggest thing Metatron wants to talk about. There's a lot of parenting things Metatron could go into, but it would take a very long time. But what he's saying is start today by being awake and actually not reacting to the situation. And taking responsibility for ourselves. Actually looking at what we're saying around them, how we, our self-esteem, our self-worth. Children pick up on this from an early age, being really aware. It doesn't mean you've got to be perfect. It just means you do the best you can around your child, because they do really pick up on everything. They watch you like a hawk, and you don't realize the impact you have on children till they're older. And sometimes too, you learn really bad habits from your parents, and you think, where did I learn that from? And they learnt it from their parents. So sometimes it's a generational thing that some things need to be broken as well. So Metatron's talking about, say maybe a parent brought in that they had poor self-esteem. You want to break that because you don't want to pass that on to your child. So it's being awake and present in the moment, and knowing that you don't want to teach your child that, it's okay to put yourself down. Say you're doing your hair in the mirror and you're like, oh my God, my hair's so ugly. And then that child will remember that, and if you keep doing it, she will start to do it as well. So you really got to be mindful of what you're saying and doing around your children. We as adults know better, so we need to take responsibility. Even like smoking, drinking, all of those things, it's not just that, it's everything. So really taking responsibility. I do the best I can by being conscious or being awake each day. And I'm not saying I do it all the time, but I try and do it most of the time, hopefully. So we'll see what happens when my son grows up. The other thing is too, he's saying that when there is generational things, do your best to try and break it. Because if it doesn't, it goes from your child to their children to their children. If it's quite a huge thing. So Archangel Metatron is talking about when there's domestic violence in a family and it's passed down generationally. You can stop that. I mean, I'm reading around the history, drinking, drugs, that kind of thing. If you're looking into family history of that way back when, you have an opportunity to change that for your child and your future's child. And that's why I think I take a lot of responsibility now when I have a child, because I think, do I want my child? I'm not saying I've got domestic violence, but what I'm saying is if there is something that bad in your family bloodline and it's happening to you or around you, and you're not speaking up about it, you're not doing anything about it, that child's going to repeat that pattern. That's what Metatron says. So we really have a big pivotal part when it comes to bringing up our children and doing the best that we can. Because even though our parents did it to us, doesn't mean we've got to do it to our children. We have a conscious choice. That's what Metatron's saying. And a conscious responsibility for choosing not to do certain things or choosing to teach your children certain things. So, your parents could have taught you gratitude for things. Your parents could have taught you really good money habits. So you can teach all of those things to your children, but be very conscious on what you're choosing to teach them. You don't want those unconscious things to be playing out and your child taking them on. Even though your child is your child chooses to come in and learn certain lessons. So if there are grandparents around you, aunties and uncles, and they do certain things you don't like, your child has chosen to come into this family and be exposed to whatever it is in your family. So there's no right and wrong with parenting. There's no right and wrong with dealing with these children. All Metatron is saying is to be awake, conscious, and present. Just start simple. Start each day and just try and do one thing, like be conscious of what you're saying to your children, what you're doing around your children, how you're reacting to emotions. Are you stressing about things? Are you teaching them to be grateful for the food that they're eating? What do you want your children to learn, and what do you want your children's future to look like? Because obviously they choose their path as well. So you can only do a certain amount in the environment, but they've also chosen certain lessons. So you're not going to be able to do everything for them. But just realizing those 3 points, be present, be awake, and be in the moment, is what Metatron is saying. Let's just tune into his cards and see what he wants us to understand about children. Okay. So this card means shine on from Metatron's deck. So it's Amanda Ellis's, the Archangel Metatron Self-Mastery deck. So it says shine on. So it's be that beacon for your children, be that beacon for hope. So when things are going really hard in your life, or things are tense, things are stressed, be the light for them, don't be the darkness for them. If that makes sense to you. Be the beacon, hold the hope, and be the example of what you want to see in your children. This one is next. I don't know what it is. Endings, you are held. So we have a choice. At the end of our journey, or whatever choices we have to make, we have a choice. We can either go left, or we can go right, or we can go straight. The choice is ours. So it says here, endings. This earth is coming to an ending, not the blowing up of the planet, ending and energetically. All of the old ways are dying away. So what Metatron is saying, we have to change our ways of how we're parenting children. It can't be the same as it used to be, because it's not going to suit them anymore. It's not going to resonate with them, and they are so honest, they will pick up if you're lying to them. These children coming in are very super intelligent, super aware, and they watch you like a hawk. Like most children in the past, but especially the kids coming in the last 5 to 10 years, they're very advanced, and they're going to get even more advanced. Technology, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. They're going to become very emotionally intelligent, but you're going to need to be able to parent them. You're going to have to be strong, and you're going to need to be the example, because the energy is ending on this planet in regards to the old ways are dying away. The new ways are coming in, the new energy, the new children are coming in. And children have come here. It says, this is the color red. It says safety, strength, and power. Children have come here to, one of the first priorities children come in with is wanting to feel safe. If you can make a child feel safe emotionally, they will work with you so well. So one of the things Metatron talks about is bringing in the understanding of the ancestors. So if you have understanding from your mum and dad, your grandparents, that you want to teach your children, it's an excellent time to start connecting into your ancestors, because they can guide you on how to parent your children, your grandfathers, your grandmothers in spirit. If you're having a hard time wondering how to parent your children, and you're really challenged by their behavior all the times you're having, call in your ancestors, call in your grandparents. They know what they need to do. They will guide you. Call in your angels. The angels are saying too that kids really just want to feel safe. They want their 5 needs met. You know, the food, water, shelter, love. I think it's the hierarchy of needs. Yeah, there's a hierarchy of needs. Children are not here to create chaos in the world. They're here to feel safe. They're here to want to be loved. They want to be fed. They want to be kept warm. They're not complicated. They're really not that complicated. Okay. So the angels are also talking about going with the flow. With children, you can't always plan what's going to happen. As you know, if you're a grandparent or a parent, children change everything. But you need to go with it, because children have a divine intelligence. They will also teach you lessons as well. So don't think that you're just there to teach them. They are there to teach you as well. And go with the flow with children. You can't always be regimented. So that's the other side of it. Some children require a lot more going with the flow. They're sensitive children. They need a lot more adaptability from a parent. And that's just who they are. Some children are really regimented and love routine, and some children really don't like routine and don't like structure. And they're very sensitive, and they need people to be able to adjust to them. So Metatron's just, this card here is talking about leadership. Answer the call. So it's time, we've been called to wake up as parents, wake up as adults, and start taking responsibility for what we are teaching the generations that are coming. We are a product of our parents and vice versa, going back. They did their best they could, but we can consciously choose today to wake up and start teaching the generations now what we would like to see in the future. How do we want our children to see their planet? How do we want our children to see the animals? How do we want our children to be responsible adults? You know, how, what, where, why? We have to answer the call and start taking responsibility. That is really the key message today from Metatron. It's a wake-up call for us adults, If we are seeing things we don't like on this planet, it's because of the way we are parenting, the way we are bringing up future generations. So we can stop things from happening. One last card. Communication. It's all about communication. So see the message in the bottle? It's about being listened to and about being heard, but it's also about communication. Children love to talk. Don't shut them up. Let them talk and speak their truth. A lot of the issues that we have as parents about speaking our truth is because as children we were told not to speak our truth. We were told to handle it, suck it up. But the thing is, if you have a sensitive child, let them express themselves either through writing, drawing, play. Use your divine intelligence. Be conscious. If your child's frustrated, try and help your child to figure out why they're frustrated. Don't just let them sit there and cry about it. Sometimes crying, you need to teach them how to be emotionally responsible. But also the other thing the angels are saying too is, as adults, you can only do as much as your parents taught you or how much you are evolved. So the expectation isn't that you make your child perfect and that you're perfect. The expectation is from Spirit that we are held responsible for shaping these children that are coming in, and you're doing the best that you can. So if you learnt as a child how not to communicate, teach your child how to communicate. So learn from your parents. If your parents weren't the best at communicating and you realize maybe you're not the best and maybe you could improve on your communication with children especially, maybe start making an effort to look at how you could improve your communication and how you can talk to your child. You know, it's looking at it from a different perspective, not just saying it is what it is. It's like if you have a child, you're responsible for helping that child grow and be the best versions of who they are. Right. So Mother Mary also wants to talk as well. Mother Mary is very gentle, and we're looking after the sensitive children, the children that require a little bit more support than most other children. So you know, the children with ADHD, ADD, all these things are these diagnoses that have been happening by doctors. Years ago there used to be children like this, but there was never those diagnoses, Mary's saying. Mary's saying each child is precious, each child is a unique spark, each child deserves to be heard and listened to. Each child should be entitled to their needs being met. Food, water, shelter, to do the best that we can as adults on this planet, to provide that for the children. Mother Mary is talking about having compassion and mercy and understanding with yourself as well as a child. So you have an inner child, and your inner child also needs nurturing. So the way that you work with your children or grandchildren is the way that you look after your inner child. So a lot of it is about taking care of yourself, being aware of yourself. So listening to yourself. So you know how we talked about giving a voice to that child, whether it be your grandchildren or your children, you also have to give the voice to yourself. So really starting to listen to what you really need right. Like today, what do you feel like doing? Do you feel like going out for a walk? Do you feel like drawing? Do you feel like having some quiet time? What is it that you feel like you need to do today? Start taking responsibility for yourself as well, because you're a much better parent if you meet your needs first and then you look after your child. Even though as a parent I understand that it gets hard, you can't always have the sleep that you want, have the food that you want, have the time to yourself that you want. But the thing is, when you do have time, make the most of it. This is really a big lesson that Mother Mary's saying. You can't be the best version of you if you don't look after yourself. That's just absolute truth. And Mother Mary's saying that a lot of people don't tend to their own needs first. And what happens is the frustration when your children comes in and they're tired and they're hungry, your frustration is from the fact that you've not been looking after yourself. So it's actually you projecting on your child. It's actually not your child's fault that they are tired or hungry. They are looking up to you to be that example, to be that leader. And if you're not meeting your own needs, how can you expect to be teaching your child that? So that's kind of where Mother Mary's going with this information. She's also saying it's really important to spend time with your child, not just to watch TV, but to actually listen to them. because I think we get caught up in watching TV, watching videos. Really making quality time with your child, sitting there and letting them play with you is really important to them, because they just want to feel safe and loved. Really, children really just want that simple fact. And ignoring them really does not help them. They get even louder when you ignore them. If they're not getting their needs met, they play up. So if they're hungry, they're tired, they will get more hyped up to get your attention. So the earlier you can pick up on the signs, the easier it will be for you in the long run. So that's what Mother Mary's saying. Let's sing what she says with these Mother Nature cards about children. So as a parent, this is called higher ground. Because we are adults and we're a lot taller than our children, we can see the higher perspective on what we're doing. Obviously, children don't understand when we're under pressure because we're trying to pay the bills. We're trying to do A, B, C, D. They don't understand any of that. So you've got to see it from a higher perspective. Children don't understand all of those things. All they want is to feel loved, nurtured, fed, clothed. If you go back to the simplicity of it and you meet their needs, they will not get more frustrated, more upset. So just go back to your essential needs. Are they watered? Are they fed? Are they happy? Are they content? Are they spending time with you? Because as parents too, we work and we need to pay the bills, but you can still make time for your child. 5 minutes a day, sitting with them, just letting them do whatever they want to do, and don't dictate how they want to interact with you. Let them just be natural with you. And children really teach us as adults to slow down and stop and play, because we don't play enough. So with your child, it's such an excellent time to bond, to play, and to just have some family time as well. Really important. So this is saying, Mother Mary is saying the higher perspective and opening your heart. When you're dealing with children, you've got to come from the heart. You can't come, if you're finding you're very frustrated in the mind, you're a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, step back. Take a couple of deep breaths and come into the heart. Try and bring your focus back to the heart, and then you'll find that you're gonna have a bit more of a higher perspective on what's going on in the situation, and it's called conscious parenting. Let's see what else. I didn't know what they were going to talk about. I love the advice and the guidance because it's really helpful with my own child as well. So the next thing that Mother Mary talking about is, see this picture here, heighten your vitality. So she's looking at the planet and there's all these people around her, a lot of light. So what Mother Mary is saying is take care of yourself physically as well. Look after your health, because you want to be there for your future children. By taking care of your health, eating the right foods, drinking the right amount of water, you can actually be there in the longer run for your child. So taking care of your physical body, taking care of your mind, having time out, taking care of your spirit. So heighten your vitality. Keep yourself as energized as possible, because that will help you to be present. If you're tired, which you can get tired, if you're tired and not looking after yourself, your body's needs, you're going to get grumpy. And it might be a little thing when your child might be saying, Mummy, I want to watch TV, and you just go off because you're tired. And it's to do with you not taking care of your body. So this is a reminder to look after your vessel, look after your spirit, and look after your mind. Try and do the best you can and keep your vitality high. This is the last card, laughter. Really important to play and laugh. Really important, especially in these times and these days. You don't know when life's going to end. You don't know when people are going to leave you. You don't know what's going to happen around the corner. Appreciate your children. Appreciate the adults around you, other adults, and spend time with them. It's looking after your inner child, and it's looking after your own children. So laugh. Even then, sometimes things can get really hard. Try and see something, try and find something each day, something to laugh about. Your child might say something really funny. It's okay to laugh. Even when you're having a crap day, it's okay to have a laugh. So look at those two children. Isn't it beautiful? Because really, they do bring the magic to this planet. Let's see what the fairies have to say, because they love children. They hang around children all the time. They play with them. Let's see, abundance. So children have such an abundance of energy, as we know, such an abundance of love. They have abundance, just abundance of love, abundance of caring, abundance of joy. They have abundance. So if you're feeling a little bit down, go and spend time with your child, or watch children. Watch those videos, you know, those videos of laughing children. It actually makes you laugh. Like, I showed the video a couple of times to my son. It makes him laugh and it makes me laugh. Watching animals and children laugh, it's so funny. It's just saying, be open to abundance. So when you have a child, really honor the fact that child's chosen you and they bring so much abundance to your world. So see the positive. When you're having those days where you're tired and you're just over it, try and remember why you wanted children, remember the purpose of why you wanted them, what they bring to your world, because you know that you would not be anything without them. They bring so much joy to your world, and they bring a lot of sleepless nights. But anyway, motivation. So our children are our motivation for change. See that as a pivotal point of change. If there's something in your life not serving you, use it as a motivation to change something about what you're teaching, what you're doing for yourself, what you're doing for others, how you're managing your time. So as a parent, learning how to prioritize really what's important and what isn't, not getting caught up in the small details. Because I've met a lot of parents over the years, and I'd say one of the parents that I kind of look up to is a lady at work. She has 5 children, but she's so easygoing. She meets all their basic needs, but you know what? She doesn't sweat the small stuff. It makes such a big difference to the way I parent. So really looking at how you're parenting, could you do it in a different way that could be easier for you? You know, making a small change, asking for more help, making more time out for yourself. Yeah, what is your motivation? And, you know, remembering why we had children, why we wanted children. One more card. Oh, same card again. They want the motivation to come twice because apparently it's really important. Okay. So this card is called stargazing. So the point the angels are trying to make here is, what do you wish for the future, planet? What do you wish for? What do you wish to see in our planet in the future? What do you wish to see for our children? What kind of environment do you want for them? What kind of landscape? What kind of mental state do you want to see? It all starts with you at home. Children get shaped by the environment as well as genetics, as well as their personalities, but we play a huge part on them being the best of who they can be. So uplifting them, inspiring them, allowing them to be themselves. Children have a divine individual soul. They have an older soul. Some of them are old souls. They know what they need to do. They forget that they're little. They forget they can't do it all at age 3, that they still need some more life experience. But you need to guide them. You need to be that guiding star for them. You need to be that ship in the water for your children. That is what Spirit are asking you today to be. That guiding light for your child, for your grandchildren, and doing the best that you can. Children also bring a lot of hope to the planet. So they bring us the hope that things can change, that things are able to change, and that things are going to change. That is what Spirit is saying. These new children coming in are not going to put up with the old ways anymore. And that's a good thing, because that means our planet will change for the better. So these newer generations coming up, it's going to be a very different platform to what we have been seeing. It doesn't mean that our lifetimes have been any worse. It's just a stepping stone to where they're going. So what do the angels want us to do? Know some final messages about children. I'll do a lot more videos on children. I just think I needed to do, This is called Light of Hope. Our children are our hope. See how that angel's standing in the middle, heaven and earth? We are the leaders for this, bringing this new golden age in. We are the hope. And it says here, hope gives us positive feelings and energy to accomplish what we desire. This is where we're at now. We've got this new hope. All these children coming in are our new hope, that things are going to change. It's such a blessing. It's so exciting too. Very, very exciting. We also need a bit of patience. So this card's called Patience. So as a parent, you need to be patient. You need to be patient. Patient with yourself, because us parents don't know everything. You've got to learn as you go. You've got to take the time. You've got to look at what kind of worked, what didn't work, and try next time. Really, being conscious as a parent is looking at, like, if you did something, did it work for you or did it not? And you do have time to be patient with your children, and you do have time to be patient with parenting your children. You just need to keep reminding yourself to take a deep breath and not rush into things. Teenagers. So I have a question here about teenagers. I'll go that in a minute. Okay. So we asked about teenagers. I got the same card. So somebody's asked about teenagers. That's a whole different subject in itself. I think they've started off with the younger kids. But what they're saying right now for teenagers, or even older young adults, is they've come in a time which is very confusing, because they've come in between the old way and the new way. So they're kind of almost stuck in between. So the angel's saying that you've got to still also be very conscious with parenting any age, but particularly between 0 and like 20, 23, they're really still trying to find themselves. And so the kids these days are really sensitive. So starting with coming back to conscious parenting, being awake, being present, and being in the moment, and seeing what their needs are. Listening to your child, no matter what age. Listening is really important. Acknowledging them. So if they're feeling angry, upset, acknowledge that and listen. You don't need to offer your advice. You want to be that sounding board for them. So allowing them to take responsibility for their emotions, allowing them to speak their truth and not feeling like they have to hide how they feel or who they are. Allowing them to be authentic with their feelings, really listening. Because as a child, I didn't always speak my truth, and a lot of my issues now in the future, and it wasn't my parents telling me not to speak my truth, I just felt like I couldn't speak my truth because no one would understand me. I was a sensitive child, and I couldn't articulate. I was very mature in my emotions, and a lot of kids coming between, maybe coming from the 90s onwards, are those in-between children that feel a bit stuck because they don't know who they are, because they're kind of leaving the old energy of our ways and kind of entering the new energy. So it's quite a hard period to be in. So they're saying is communication is key for these children coming in. Also with especially the kids that are already in their 20s, kind of going from, in the last kind of, the ones that are around 20 to 30 now, like ranges from then. Those children are the ones that kind of came in with that between the transition state from 3D to 5D. So the angels are saying, talking about communication, also allowing them to express themselves, again, like children, because as children or babies, they've got to learn how to express themselves. If that was stunted in any way, it becomes an issue when they're older. So trying to help them to kind of be that sounding board for them, and not being that person who tells them, I think you need to do it this way, I think you need to do it that way. Actually just listening to them. You know how you go to friends for a conversation so you can figure out your own answer? Allowing to be that parent so they feel safe, that they can come to you and actually figure out what they need to do. Even if you can see there is a better way of doing it, allow them, if it's not going to hurt them, allow them to go down that avenue. Because how else do they learn unless they try and walk their own steps and figure it out themselves? And you want to build trust with them as much as you can. Teenagers, as I remember too, teenagers don't like to talk to their parents about things. So being just a sounding board, that making them feel comfortable and reassuring them that even though you don't want to talk to mummy right now, in the future, if there's something really hurting, please come and talk to me. You know, building that rapport with them. And that understanding. Kids want to be understood, they want to be listened to, they want to be heard, no matter what age. So if you're having issues with older children, that is kind of how to come back to basics. They want to feel safe, they want to feel loved, they want to be heard, they want to be listened to, and they want to figure it out themselves. They don't want you to be a parent and keep telling them what to do, because they came here to be on a journey themselves. Some things, you know, obviously drugs and alcohol, very different. You would have to use your intuition as a mother or a father and really look at what is it that they need. So taking each case for what it is, there is no one fit that fits all children. The angels are saying too to ask the God, if you're struggling with a particular child, ask your guides and angels of that child to come and communicate with you, to show you What can you do for your child right now? So say they're having a hard time with friendships, or finding a job, or finding it hard with relationships, communication, whatever it is that's upsetting them at school. Call in their guardian angels and guides to come and work with you, because I do that with my son. I will ask, say my son's got an illness, I will ask, is there anything that I can do? Can you show me a way, what's causing it, and what can I do to kind of rectify it? So if there's something upsetting my son, so last couple of weeks my son's been having a lot of, he's been finding it really hard to express his emotions. I've been asking his angels and guides to show me what is it that he needs from us as parents. Show us. And it can come from, and actually a lot of the answers came from my husband. So it doesn't necessarily mean Spirit's going to work through you. You could be listening to someone else talk about sensitive children. So really, I might do another video on teenagers. I just feel like they're kind of very different in regards to younger children. I think Metatron wanted to talk about first kind of conception, what happens as a child up to 5 years old. And then I will do another video on parenting teenagers and another video parenting young adults, because that's what they like to be called. And yeah, so I hope that this helped. It was meant to be a short kind of brief video, but definitely I will do another video in the next couple of months in regards to parenting. I think children is such a huge subject, and because they vary in types and different ethnicities, different cultural backgrounds, you can't really do one way. And that's the main point Metatron and Mary and all of Michael want them to know, that when you are looking after a child or parenting a child or being a grandparent to a child, they see everything for what it is, and that you need to be authentic with yourself and be authentic with them. That's what really matters to them, because they are very honest, as you know, and they come from the light, and they haven't learnt the old ways of being. They're in the new energy, the new way of being, and the angels are really clear. You've got to be authentic and real, and then they will be authentic and real with you. What you want to see in your children is what you should be giving to your children. If you want your children to trust, you need to trust them. If you want to see love in your children, you need to be loving towards your children. So they are a reflection of what you are. And even though they have their own sense of self, that will come over time. They will grow into that. But you need to nurture them to allow them to be able to be the best versions of themselves. And you can do that by being a conscious parent, being awake, alert, and listening to them. Like the tips that they've given you are very easy to do. You just need to start doing them. That's really what it is. And you can't use time as an excuse. I've heard different parenting styles, and there's no right and wrong. You can do the whole regimented way, you can do the easygoing way. They're just reminding you that children are such pure love beings. They pick up everything. So that was all the messages for me today. I just thought I'd pick a couple of more unicorn cards to end the session with. Children, see what the children want us to know. So I'll connect in with the energy of the children. What do the children want us to know as parents? So this card's called Past Lives. So they want us to know that they are as mature as we are, but they're just in little bodies. Their souls are very wise. They've had past lives as much as you are. You're just older and you're able to communicate your needs better. But it doesn't mean that they do not have the experience. They've lived in this world many times, and they want you to remember that they have individual souls, individual team of angels, and they are also held responsible for their path as well. So even though we can be the best parents we can be, they choose their path. So that's the other thing as parents, realizing that they've made their own path, that they're choosing what they want to do within what is it? Oh, I can't remember the word. It's gone. Went out of my head. Next message they want us to know is that children are full of possibilities. They're endless. You can really make a difference in their world just by saying one nice thing to them, doing one nice thing for them, being that example. Because you can remember as an adult, when you are a child, as you went to school and there was that favourite teacher of yours that made a difference in your life when you were feeling crappy. Adults make a difference. So you can be that inspiration for that one child today. So the possibilities are endless, the children are saying. Final message from the children. Oh, that won't be it. Celebration. So they want you to celebrate. Know how far you've come as a parent, a grandparent, an adult, and recognize that they celebrate you as well. They're really happy to be with you. Children love their parents. Any kind of child, any kind of adult, they're happy. They want to be with you. Really enjoy that energy of celebration. Celebrate your child today. Celebrate you as a person today. Celebration. That's really what the children want you to know. Okay, thank you for today. I thought I'd just show you this quickly. I thought you might want to appreciate it. Look at all these beautiful flowers. Just thought you'd show you the energy of the flowers. The white and a beautiful swan being graceful. Isn't that pretty? I thought I'd just show you that, and just thought I'd show you this as well. I like pretty things. Look at this butterfly. This reminds me of a child being free-spirited. I was watching my son yesterday. Children are very free-spirited. And this is just reminding us that we all have a light within us and to cherish that. Okay, well, have a beautiful Monday. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. I'm doing another video tomorrow with Archangel Zadkiel and Lady Amethyst, and it's going to just be about transforming old energy and letting it go. So I'll see you tomorrow at, I think it's 1 o'clock. All right, see you later. Bye.